Welcome back. You're listening to Senior Moments. I'm Joe Schenberger with Joel Green on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We're talking with Jim and Ellen about about VA benefits. And it's interesting, as we've come to the conclusion of each segment, we each have had a host of additional questions to ask. And I want to point this one back to Ellen, and Jim has weighed in on this too. The layperson generally understands, and I'm a layperson, that the threshold of income is nowhere near what you suggested, Ellen, when you looked at your resource material. What many have understood, is that the cost of services for the veteran need to exceed their ability to pay before they can apply for the benefit. And apparently that's not correct. So I need some clarification, or the audience could certainly use some clarification on what reality is.
Okay, and just like we were talking during the break, there are two different sides to the house. Now, if you're looking to just try to get, say, a supplement insurance going with the VA and your Medicare, that's completely different side of the house than what we're talking as far as then getting a pension claim with aid and attendance attached to that. You've got two different amounts of money that have to match up for you to be able to then get these services. So my side, talking about pension and aid and attendance, the amount that they can make per year seems incredibly low. But as you add up all the other expenses, and we're able to drop, then what you're making this amount, $30,000. Then we're going to sit down with all of your out-of-pocket expenses and your travel back and forth. Being able to take this and chip away, often can get you way below the amount that the VA says that you can only make this amount to be able to then get the pension with the aid and attendance.
Okay.
Now, Jim was talking about how much it takes then to go in to get actual medical care.
And what the average, every area is different. In the greater LA, it's approximately $54,000 a year per household. So we do have veterans that may not be able to file for service connected, but that's another way we can get them in.
Okay, so let me ask another question. As you're accumulating costs to reduce your income, to get to that income threshold, let's say as an example, you're living in assisted living. In assisted living, you're paying a fee to live there and a fee for care, separate fees. Do all of those costs apply to the reduction in income?
Only your out of pocket.
Well, they'd all be out of pocket because of private pay.
And if it was all out of pocket, all of that is going to then count to lowering the amount.
So if I'm paying $6,000 a month in assisted living with care, and it's all out of pocket because it's all private pay, that then would reduce my income by $6,000 per month from the VA's perspective.
Yes.
Correct. Got it. Great.
That's really fascinating. Are there people that come in and ask the question that we were just discussing? Because it is a bit confusing.
It is confusing. Unfortunately, people want to be able to take aid and attendance by itself, and it's not. It has to go hand in hand with that pension. And because it does that, that's where you have then that amount that the VA has set that each household can make in a year.
Cannot exceed.
Cannot exceed. Or you just can't. You can't get
Or you
it.
don't qualify.
Right. And there are age limitations also.
Like what?
So, 65, normally you have to be at least 65 to be able to put in for this non-service connected pension. There are some other qualifiers. It would take too long to go through it.
Right.
I would just suggest any family member who's married to a veteran, whose veteran maybe has died and now is trying to figure out what they might be able to get, or my veterans that for some reason never understood that they have service officers there that are not only able and willing, but we are there for our veterans. That's all we ever want to do. We're free. We're for you. We're going to get this figured out for you.
You know, Ellen, the two of you, you and Jim, have been very generous with your time today, giving us essentially your entire morning because of travel, preparation. the show and then travel after the fact. But I imagine your day is pretty impacted. What is your backlog? How long does it take a family to come in, or a vet that wants to apply? How long does it take to get FaceTime with you?
Honestly, you come in, we've got a waiting room, they sign up, say they want to see me. I can never tell you how long it's going to take with one vet or not. If I'm sitting down with a vet for the very first time and we're just going over the amount of information that we're going to have to put a claim in, that could take 15 or 20 minutes. If I have a vet that comes in with all of their information and now we're going to do the actual claim time, it could take an hour to hour and a half.
Do you take appointments?
Because of these wide varied times,
Can't,
I
okay.
don't. Because then I could be sitting twiddling my thumbs for an hour, or you could. And I
Okay.
don't want that. We would rather you just go ahead and understand that there might be some waiting time to see any of us, but it's worth it.
I guess out of curiosity, because I was at the DMV recently, how big is your waiting lobby? I mean, on any given day, is there quite a few people there?
Yes, there are.
People get turned away on a daily basis.
I would say that no. We've got enough service officers from different service organizations there that if they cannot come in and see, that, say, the VFW, we have got service officers from many of the service organizations
Great.
that are there willing to help.
By the way, do we have any VSOs or officers at our VFW?
Every VFW, one of their appointed officers is a service officer.
Interesting. So we have at least one here in Santa Clarita.
You should, yes.
Very good. You're listening to Senior Moments. I'm Joe Schenberger with Joel Green and Ellen and Jim, helping us through the very complex maze of applying for the myriad of benefits that are available through Veterans Affairs. We're coming to you through your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, and we'll be right back.
Resources for vets through local volunteers and how to access those resources with James Hogan and Ellen Mitchell are what we're talking about today on Senior Moments on Santa Clarita's hometown radio station, AM 1220 KHTS. Ellen and Jim, how important is it to belong to an organization that might be available to veterans?
Do you want me to field this first, Jim?
Go ahead, go for it.
I'm going to count this as high as coming in and filing a claim if you're eligible to do so. All of our different service officers come from nonprofit organizations such as the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the American Legion, which are the two largest in the United States. But we have Disabled American Vets, Purple Heart, American Vet. We even have Jewish War League. We have the Vietnam Veterans, their association. All of these people help with the numbers that come in from your membership. Without the numbers, we vets would not have half of what we still have left. The government constantly takes things away. These organizations are there to fight for your rights, but they cannot do that if you do not belong to one of these organizations and apply your numbers.
Are these organizations primarily local in nature?
Absolutely. They're all local. Every single one of them you should be able to find easily. Go online, check it out. We've got quite a few right here in your area.
So it's like attendance in a school district. If a kid doesn't show up, it can affect how much money you get from the state on a daily basis.
Absolutely. It's going to affect your rights as a veteran. Mm-hmm. As far as things being cut, they've taken so many rights away from veterans. What we're trying to do, what these organizations are always doing, are trying to stop the politicians from taking everything away. But our numbers mean strength and a little bit of a scare tactic. If you come in and say, I've got 10,000 people, they're going to say, I don't care. But if you come in and you say, I have 500,000, I have 800,000 people, I have 1 million people, those numbers are enough to make them back off and not keep taking what they've been taking. Our veterans deserve more.
Well, the most important to me is veteran helping veteran. That's why I've had volunteered over 13 years in the VA system I strongly believe your best source is another veteran.
And that's what you get if you
Peer to peer.
join these organizations.
That's right.
You've got veterans working with veterans, for the veterans, their families, and the community.
You're both veterans. What organizations do you belong to?
Well, I belong to the VFW, the Disabled American Veteran, the Blind Veterans Association, the Vietnam Veterans of America, all like member of those organizations, because I do believe the number in the membership does have a strong voice in Washington, D.C.
How about you, Ellen?
I'm a member of the Ladies Auxiliary to the Veterans of Foreign Wars, and I'm also a member of the American Legion. So I have the distinct pride of being a lady on one side and a sergeant on the other.
Outstanding. I thought they went hand in hand
If
everywhere.
if I need to get in touch with you, how do I do that?
Okay, to be able to get in touch with us, just me at least, if nothing else, let me tell you the number to the Sepulveda VA. That number is area code 818-891-7711, and my extension is 7673. Now, you can reach our office. If nobody answers, please leave a message. We will get back to you.
And Jim, how about you?
My number, I usually give it, my home number, it's 661-251-7870.
Okay.
Well, thank you both very much. This has been such good information, and I don't know how many more shows we could have that would just augment this information. It's dealing with families every day and understanding their needs to have income above and beyond what they have to support their care needs, seniors in particular, is mind-boggling.
Daunting.
And
yes.
the variety of programs out there and the complexity of them, we're blessed to have you here.
And I would just like to add that it's really quite amazing to think that you offer your services for free.
Well, thank you. I think both Jim and I, that's just something that you have. You get out of the military, that's one of the things that you want to do. You want to be able to be there helping.
Well, not
veterans.
everybody does. So
Well, no,
Don't
it's in your heart. How can you say no to a veteran?
Absolutely.
absolutely great. Well, don't forget to join us on the second and fourth Thursday of the month from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for Senior Moments on Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. You can also reach us at seniorresourcealliance.org or the Santa Clarita Senior Resource Alliance at 296-8266. Thank you.